this is okay. You want a real convoluted metaphor? Might not be a metaphor, but have you ever seen chainsaw art?
Like the carvings of bear. Yeah.
It's usually a bear.
I have one.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah,
That's fucking great. That's great. I did not anticipate a visual aid for my convoluted chainsaw art comedy metaphor. Oh yeah, there you go. That's great. There we go.
Hold it up for the camera.
Okay, now I can tell this chainsaw art story with this just turned into a one-man show.
It's like a TED Talk.
Yeah, it really is. Okay. So look, this was made with a chainsaw, which is actually really fucking impressive.
Yeah.
But like
why I have that, I cannot tell you, but
let's say for a second this was not made with a chainsaw. It's a lot less impressive. Because you're like, someone carved this bear, and you're like, well, that's pretty decent, I guess. And you're like, no, let me finish. Someone carved this bear with a chainsaw, and you're like, holy shit, that's really impressive.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about your new hour of comedy, where you're like, how was that comedy? And you're like, I guess it was okay. And then you're like, I wrote it all this year. And then I go, oh, that is impressive. I didn't know that you wrote all of this in a year. What I'm saying is, I don't want to make chainsaw comedy. I want to make a good fucking hour of comedy that fucking levels the room and changes the chemistry of their lives for at least one evening. I don't give a shit about, I always want to write new stuff, but I'm trying to kill. So
it's a much finer level, like an intricate approach to your hour, where you're obsessing about the details, and instead of having a larger number of topics, it's can you get the most out of these topics that you're doing?
And they're only they're never. I gotta keep the bear now. At what point can I put the bear
when you
down?
start talking? You gotta start talking it a little bit.
This is my act.
You can take him with you if you need to.
I don't know what I was saying. What was I
there's a
talking
glass
about?
under him now.
Shit, I almost... Okay. So. I tried to set the bear on a glass like it was a circus. But what was I talking about? Shit.
The intricacy, the detail.
I'm always... Look, the best feeling in comedy is a new joke that works. The worst feeling is an old joke that doesn't. That's true at every level, but it's I'm still trying to I don't think people are open mic, fine. How do you think you're going to move ahead in comedy? How you move ahead in comedy is doing well. Mm-hmm. It's not I did all new stuff tonight. No, what booker goes, they're going to have a new set every time. Won't that be great? No, it's lit. People book comedy, like those, the old laugh meter things on old game shows where whoa, that's how they're booking comedy. The words coming out of your mouth literally don't even matter. They're just in the back of the room going, hit the red or you don't come back.
But this is I hate this topic because I've been in the back of the room, and when you see someone hacky shit that's destroying,
absolutely,
you're like, fuck the meter, because there is that is the other side of New York and shit, where you have these audiences that they do not give it up unless it's the funniest shit that they've ever seen, and you see just the level of comedy just rising, just some of the shit that you're seeing is. And the way people kill, and do you think this was something I wanted to ask you? You are pretty rare. You don't have a lot of peers at this point. There are not that many people in this area with as much experience as you have, and you you can go and bounce ideas off of people and stuff, but do you think that hurts you at all to not, like, there are guys that are 20 years in New York or LA that like they're around people at their level constantly, like?
Well, yeah, I think I don't have a class because I probably would have if people stuck with it, but they didn't.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I know some Seattle headliners that started before me, but I don't really, there's not anyone, there's a few people maybe around that do it part-time that I kind of remember from when I started, but I don't have that class. But also, New York, LA, you know, it's like our Seattle experience is I work with you in Seattle. You go, do you want to come on my podcast? I do. Sometimes in New York and LA, it's like that experience is, I have a new show on Hulu. Do you want to play the bartender? Like, that's a different level of like.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? It's like in the way that I'm saying my friends and colleagues have gotten me most of my gigs. I think that's also can be true for TV and movies. And look at Attell. Attell's been in so many Amy Schumer movies.
Oh, yeah. I mean, she named her child, his middle name is Attell. I think they changed it because it was creepy, but like it's a relationship based business for sure.
Yeah. So if you can have relationships with people, you know, if you get a relationship with me, eventually you can open for me in a Mexican restaurant in Shelton. You know, but so it is. Yeah.